people, I can look in their eyes and tell they don't want to be here. They're not going to commit suicide, but that they don't want to be here anymore. So certain people, and especially when it's cancer, that's the first thing I ask. I used to ask them, do you want to live? Do you want to live? And through all my research and working with people, now I ask people, when did you decide you didn't want to be here anymore? So it's all a journey, because I know it because I experienced it. And then God showed me this is what you need to do in order to help people through this journey, to help them. So there's some exercises I'm going to show you to do to sort of help you, because I had one interesting journey that I want to share. It was a week process that changed my life on a lot of different levels. Now, I used to utilize this procedure, but it can totally turn you around and help you not go through so much stress in life. Now, there's something called kinesiology where I'm going to teach you this simple little technique that you can use to see whether or not something is good for you. It's a good way to do an allergy test to see if this is allergic for you or the situation is going to be good for you to be in. Very simple little test. So as I go through this day today, I'm going to show you this practice. But I like to say that when something is going on in your life, you can just ask the purpose. For everything that happens in our life, there is a true purpose. And how it affects you and your health and your well-being and your journey, you have to know what that purpose is. And sometimes we don't know initially. Mine started with a flat tire. Now, it sounds kind of odd. We all have them here and there as a flat tire. But about, I think it was 12 years ago now, I woke up one morning and I was ready to go to work, and I went out to the car and it was a flat tire. So my daughter called. She said, Mom, I'm going to bring you my car. Don't worry about it. Why don't you just go ahead? You don't have time to go call and do all this other. I'll take care of it while you're gone. To work that day. I said, okay. So I left the house and went and did what I needed to do, came home late that evening, didn't check the car until the next morning because I just knew it was taken care of. Again, the tire was still flat. She said, well, they thought they were going to do A, B, and C. They did not. I'll do it today. So I went to work a second day. So the next day, the third day, I was off. And I said, I'm just going to I just was very impatient with a lot of things. I'm going to put some Fix-It in there. This is a long time ago. So I'll throw some Fix-It in there myself and inflate that tire and go tell them to take it off instead of waiting for somebody to come. I went to put a can of Fix-It in the tire, and most of it ran out of the tire. It just came out. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how did I make it home 2 nights ago with a big hole in that tire? So I took a step back from the car, and I said, there's something significant about this hole in this tire. Because something stopped me from being injured, losing my life, or hurting someone else. Something. And I know it was God. So I stood back from the car and I said, God, what is the purpose of this hole in this tire? And he said, you have a big hole in your life of something you need to take care of. So at that point, I'm like, what is it I need to take care of? This is after the 2 comas and all these other things have happened. And a lot of things I got busy and tried to forget, or had forgotten, because my business in 92, I lost my business during the civil unrest. The 92 coma was where I went to heaven. But so much happened that year. So a lot of things I had forgot. So I'm thinking, what big hole in my life I need to take care of? So lo and behold, and I'm a very responsible person, keep in mind, but lo and behold, God said, go to the courts. Go to City Hall, go to the court and find out, do you have any tickets? Because there's something you have to take care of. And I'm listening, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be obedient here because there's a big hole in my life, something I know I need to take care of. So I go to the courthouse that day to have them check my name to see if I have any tickets. Not only did I have tickets, I had 4 bench warrants. I know we're taping this. Yeah, I had 4 bench warrants. I was so busy working, recovering from comas, recovering from this, recovering from that, building a business, seeing patients, doing everything else for everybody else. I didn't even realize I did. So I'm thinking, well, why do I have bench warrants? Why do I have all these tickets? I don't even remember the tickets. So anyway, so the lady said, why don't you go to DMV, get things straight with DMV with some paperwork. And I said, okay. So I go to DMV that day. I didn't want to go. I called a friend of mine who's an attorney. I said, look, can you just find out what these numbers mean and, the ticket number so I can take care of this? He said, no, this is something you have to do for yourself. And I'm thinking, I don't want to go down there. I don't have time. But God had to put me through this process. And this was truly a 1-week journey. And I went to DMV, and because that same day I had to go to court. And when I had gone to DMV, she said, my goodness, she was on the computer so long. But when I walked up to the window, God gave me something to tell her. To this day, I don't remember. But I told her something, and she looked at me, and she said, I was just praying about that. You just confirmed what I was praying about. And then she just kept, busy on the computer. So I stood there so long, I said, my goodness, I have volumes of reports on there? I mean, what's going on? And she said, I'll be finished in just a minute. She said, well, you need to do the reading test again and, and everything. I said, okay. So I go up to the board, the chart, and actually after the 3rd row, I couldn't see it. And I told her, I have 20/20 vision. I don't know why I can't see it today. Maybe it's the stress from all this, and stress will do that. So she said, okay, look into the little box. And sure enough, in that little box looked like little ants walking across. I could not see that. So she said, okay, don't worry about it. She said, but you probably need to go because I know this is the 2nd day. You need to go back to the courthouse because you have to see the judge today. And I said, okay. So I left and I went. And there was 2 women on the bench. Now, meanwhile, I'm praying and asking God, whatever this is, I know you're going to fix it. I know it's going to be taken care of. Because number one, I don't remember doing anything that I wasn't supposed to do to have 4 bench warrants in the first place. So by the time I get to back to the courts, there were 2 women on the bench. The first judge, she was on the right side, and she was very quiet. The judge that was presiding that day, she was pretty nice. I mean, she was pretty she tolerated people pretty well. And it was about 100 people there, and I was probably number 60 out of 100. So I sat there and I waited and waited. She got to me, she said, you've already pleaded guilty, because that's what I was told. If you just go and plead guilty, you can get everything all resolved real quick. And then when she started reading them, I said, excuse me, Judge, I know that I pleaded guilty, but the first ticket she was reading off is like you were going across the railroad tracks and the train was coming. You could have caused an accident. And I said, I remember that. Now, I was a mile away before I was pulled over. And when he stopped me, I'm thinking, why is he doing this? So I found out later they were stopping people during that time. But I never did have the time to go take care of it. And it was years before. And I'm thinking, okay, I remember that one. And she says, oh, you were in the Diamond Lane during the North Ridge earthquake when the freeway was down, and it had you veer off the freeway in the Diamond Lane. So I even told the police, why are you giving me a ticket? Everybody getting off here is in the car alone, so why are we all getting tickets? It's basically, I saw you, I didn't see all them, so he gave me a ticket. So the other 2, I could not remember because that's when I stopped the judge. And she said, so the first judge leaned over and she said, you know something? She said something to her, and she said, we're going to give you a chance to try and pull this together. Because then I told her, look, I don't remember this. I've been in 2 comas, She said, okay, we're going to give you some time to go and bring us proof. So the next day I left. That day I left. And the next day I said, well, I can't do too much about this problem. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to go to hear Winnie Mandela speak. She was in town. And lo and behold, the person standing behind me going in was the doctor who did my surgery when I was in coma in 92. Now this is like 12 years after. I run into him that day. And I'm like, what is the likelihood I would see him? I haven't seen him since he did the surgery when I was in coma 12 years ago. and he's standing behind me. So this is part of that journey. So we sat at the same table, and we talked, and he had some problems during his time